Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, we are happy to announce the opening ceremony of the second UTIC-2014 conference. Thank you very much for being able to make it to the Kyiv that is welcoming you in spring. Special thanks to our foreign guests from and special welcome to those who are watching the conference online, and we hope that you will feel as if you were present here. Дорогие друзья, мы счастливы начать церемонию открытия UTIC-2014. Спасибо за то, что вы приехали в Киев, особенно особая благодарность тем, кто прибыл из-за рубежа, и особое приветствие тем, кто смотрит нас в режиме онлайн. We're very happy to greet the special guests of the conference. Please welcome Anna Carnegie Brown, Stepan Nordic, the UK, John Terninko, the CEO of Elia Association, Vadim Khazin, who represents the ATA, the US, Konstantin Lakshin, a certified translator, interpreter, US, Sergei Sarjevsky, a simultaneous interpreter, Ukraine, Alexander Pisaruk, Achievers, Canada, Kimo Rossi, the European Commission, Luxembourg, Taras Kiyak, a Doctor of Technology, Professor, Head of the Department of Theory and Practice of Translation from German at the Kyiv National University, named after Shevchenko, Irina Alexeyeva, the CEO of the High School of Interpreting at the Teachers Training University of St. Petersburg. A year has passed after the first conference. We really missed each other because the previous event was successful 100%. Let's remember how it was, and let's share the spirit of this video. This was the idea that came from Stanislav Kaleniuk, and then he shared it with the team. Probably it was because there had never been an event like that in Ukraine, and also because networking helps expand your business. This really became an urgent need. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to see you here. At first, we thought about holding a powwow, and then we organized a conference for our employees, for our team, and for our in 2011. Then we held a conference in 2012 with about 60 people present. Then we thought that the efforts that we spent on organizing the conference for our staff, we can use the same efforts on organizing a large-scale national conference. That's how we decided to make our local forum for the staff an open event that turned into UTIC. Our goal is to create a forum for discussing different views and to develop the general standards for the industry. And the mission of the conference is to make the profession as significant for the state as possible, because interpreters do not only have a command of a foreign language, they are a mediator between different worlds, both in business and politics, and they help people both to understand each other and to develop their relations further. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our goal was to make the conference useful for its attendees, which are mainly Ukrainian companies and freelancers. The program of the conference is a mix of speeches by the foreign experts and those who practice in the Ukrainian market, so that we could compare the local industry and the foreign industry. The conference is an event. This is an open forum for communication between all players in the market. This is a great opportunity to mix with colleagues, to establish new contacts or even friendships. And thirdly, to open to see new horizons. And for me, networking is the opportunity to get answers for too many questions that I want to discuss, and I hope to get feedback, and I want to see the ways to resolve my issues. The conference, the goal of the conference is to make UTIC a forum that will help the interpreting and translation business in the Ukraine expand and achieve new standards, and it will promote and it will encourage our industry to join the international industry. Thank you. This is the scale, and we are speaking about the future. Эта конференция — замечательная возможность свести вместе.
It's a step in the right direction to begin to form a mature business view for the industry. It will be a place to begin to create new solutions and new views of the markets, and to be able to show to the outside world that the Ukrainian market exists and that it's robust and can make a big contribution.
I think that when we talk about the future of the industry, we are a very adaptive industry. We're a service industry, so we adapt to any demands that our clients have according to the time. So different times, different demands. And there are two things that are permanent. One is a conversion of content from one language to the other, and this needs to be done with extreme care and quality. And the other thing that stays constant, that doesn't change, in 30 years it hasn't changed, is the need to provide excellent customer care. Customer service, the relationship between you and your client is the key in the maintenance and the survival of any business.
Now, how does a translator or interpreter become proficient? Practice, practice, practice. Our professions make it difficult for translators and interpreters to get started in an industry because we have a very high expectation immediately. A conference interpreter has to be able to work in the booth professionally if they're going to get a job. But young interpreters coming out of institutes and universities need to have some kind of a trajectory or path that allows them to start with conferences or meetings or interactions that are less demanding and less stressful, and they need to work with seasoned professionals that are willing to help them. And if they can do that and have some kind of a mentorship, then they will be able to become proficient much faster and hopefully avoid some of the missteps.
A successful company is mainly less scared of sharing experience, of experimenting. The goal of such meetings is to take a look at each other and to make sure that competitors get to like each other. When competitors have the opportunity to sit together and to have a drink together, to speak on some general topics, and then to switch on to the professional topics, just spontaneously to exchange information in a neutral forum in a friendly atmosphere. We are friends. This is very important. We are friends of this team that has set up, that has held such a large-scale conference, and such a beautiful one.
I think that the UTIC will benefit the Ukrainian industry in the same way. This is a great chance with the people coming into this conference for them to learn about Western business culture, let's say. But I think it'll only help the home market and improve their abilities.
It's the first conference here in the Ukraine. And I think that what we can hope for is like a domino effect, or the opportunity for people to share their experience in such a fantastic environment.
конференции через 5 лет? Я не могу.
I cannot I cannot give an answer to the question how the conference will look in 5 years, because I don't even know how it will look in a year. There's one thing I can say is that we have ventured to hold another conference in 2014 in second half of May in Kyiv as well, very near the venue in previous year. I know that many people want to come to Ukraine in May in Kyiv. There are much more of us than those who have attended. Next year we must have a bigger conference with more people, more views, more content.
I know how hard it is to make something happen for the first time. It would be fantastic for the industry to continue developing this relationship with the local industry so that it becomes a more professional market.
So, Stanislav Konyuk, the main director of Company Direct, is going to speak, the main organizer of this event. Dear colleagues, dear friends, glad to meet you here. Thank you. Good morning, friends and colleagues. I have watched this pleasant video, good recollections. The most thing was the ship travel, and that's why I would like to recollect another one moment. I guess not everyone just put attention to it. If you remember, the ship was very big and there were more than 300 places. And the ship was packed for a long time, and it would take a lot of time to start our trip. And after 1 kilometers of our trip, and suddenly the ship started to turn. But thank you, due to Igor, we just didn't notice that and continued. Good, we have a lot of reserve variants. So due to Igor, we just didn't notice that, and the ship just to go back because of only 2 participants were late on the ship. They just were late only for 40 minutes, but we managed to turn the whole big vehicle, the big ship, and to take the people which were waiting on the beach. This moment was very interesting because it's learned flexibility in terms of making decisions. I was very interested and just like the reaction of the captain. And in our situation, more than 300 people were just not only ready to help, but even to save those who were waiting on the beach. That's not a secret that the situation nowadays in terms of Ukraine and international one is very difficult, and it's going to even to worse. I just want to mention that if the situation won't influence the translation market as well. Initially, I guess the impact on such important, influential pair as English-Russian translation, even if it doesn't take place, then makes us going to be influenced. Nobody knows how it would be in the future. I guess that those features which were common for that captain of that ship, which managed to turn the ship, and to go back for those two on the beach. Those are the features which I hope will not be needed for us, but we need them in terms of this very difficult situation and tendency. Besides, recently Pavel Ruslavich Palashenko has published his article devoted to the beginning of the conference, where he started to speak about several current questions concerning the position of the translator and interpreter, and showed the conscious choice of the position which is to be taken by the professional, and the need to understand why when you can just show your point of view and when you're just a person who translates and has no right to show any of those attitudes to those parts. So I do recommend you to read the article if you haven't managed to do that before. Januszuk, Alexandra, if I just don't know whether you were asked about that, but I just recommend you to read. Okay, no, so then just try to mention it in your section, Art of Translation, because Pavel Ruslavich asked to do that, and he also asked to read a short invitation, greeting to the participants of the conference. So I'll do that. Unfortunately, I cannot be present on the conference UTIC. With great pleasure, I just remember the first conferences in the last year. This time, I would like to offer the participants of the translation art section to read the articles about translators. I guess it would be interesting for you. I wish you good luck, and good luck to the conference. I wish you unity, happiness, and prosperity to the whole Ukraine. So in this article, there is an interesting thing which can learn us, teach us how to make the right conscious choice between, so to say, the importance of the role in which we are we the translators, are we at work, our children, husbands, wives, relatives, and so on, and in each of those roles we can do a right decision, right choice. So those two features which were common for those captain of the ship, which managed to turn it and at the necessary moment, and to the captain, if you let me so to say, Pavel Ruslavich, who says that the decision is to be understanding and conspicuous. I think that those two features are maybe not very necessary, but desired if we want to pass the calming period, if we want to leave it very good. And that is what we want. I would finish on this. I would like to wish you successful conference. I would like to wish you new meetings. I want you to meet old friends, find new ones, just find what you want, receive new knowledges. I wish the conference to be very useful and very necessary for you, and I also wish you joy and harmony. Thank you for your attention. We thank Stanislav for his greetings.
Дамы и господа, специальное видеоприветствие подготовили для нас представители нашего информационного.
Ladies and gentlemen, the representatives of our special information partner have prepared a video addressed to us with a video welcoming word. So, and I give the floor to Hans Festemacher, the CEO of Gala.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be with you this week at the second annual UTIC conference, but the organizers asked me to assemble a few of my thoughts and pass them along to you in the form of this video. So I'd like to share a couple of thoughts with you about where we see the industry and where we see the industry heading in the next couple of years. First of all, I think that market expectations are changing very quickly right now. The customers, the clients on the client side are looking for three main things. Transparency, which means they want to see, evaluate, and be able to interact with the supply chain in real time. And that means that self-service will become more the norm for language service providers and language service companies. And they will have to become supply chain integrators. The second thing that clients are looking for is technological competence. They expect automation, metrics, and analytics to be everywhere in the supply chain so that they can measure and see everything that's going on. And so that means that tech-savvy language service providers will have a real advantage as translation becomes more and more commoditized. Third, clients are looking for interoperability. That means they want to leverage the assets throughout the supply chain, even with multiple providers. And they expect you to be able to connect to their systems seamlessly. So that means it will become perhaps more difficult for loyalty to be found. Providers will have to push further upstream into the client's processes so that they can integrate with them. And in essence, what this means is that it's more important than ever for language service providers to add value. This means they have to be ruthlessly efficient. They have to help meet the client's real goals and be able to do so with less pain in the process. So that means, I think, that language service providers have to think about what kind of business they want to be in. At the upper end, there's the premium type of business. And what we're seeing there are new business models in language service companies that are based on outcomes for clients, rather than just projects or orders, the transactional model. So understanding your client's business and knowing their domain and integrating with everything that they do and with their technology is the key there. Being in a premium business means that your clients care more about results for what they're looking for than they do about cost. At the other end of the spectrum is the commodity type business. This means you're in a place where you're delivering a supply of words, a supply of subcomponents to a larger supply chain, and it means you have little strategic control over your business at that end, and basically are at the mercy of the rest of the supply chain. Here, lower cost and efficiency are prized more than anything else. And that means technology and automation are going to be crucial to success in a commodity model type of business. Now, I think both of these models can be viable business models for a company to pursue, but it's getting harder and harder to be both at the same time. So companies are starting to have to decide which one they are going to focus on as their main business model. So in the next few years, I think we're going to see some tectonic shifts in the industry. I think traditional LSPs that have done a wide range of services and a wide range of domains and clients are slowly going to get pushed out of business. I think the top LSPs are going to start looking more and more like clients. They're going to have more and more the type of business model that our clients traditionally have. And traditional translation work may in fact decrease, because as traditional content goes away and reuse and automation and of traditional content skyrockets, MT is going to take over, and we're going to see more and more of that, especially in the new types of content like user-generated content, social media, and so forth. In fact, some could argue that the goal in many cases for businesses is to end up with zero translation, to have everything be, in fact, a repurposing of existing content and a re-aggregation. Ironically, I think translation and interpreting skills may become more valuable in that scenario down the road, because linguists, expert linguists, will need to be content assemblers. They'll need to provide translation, of course, and interpreting as basics, but they'll have to assemble content and have skill sets that are related to aggregating content in that fashion. They're going to be needed for training MT engines and other kinds of linguistic tools. They'll be needed as post-editors and quality assurance specialists and as terminologists. So those terminology skills are going to actually increase in value for that new supply chain and those new business models. And of course, the opportunity in the long-tail languages in emerging markets will be tremendous, because there is no TM, there are no MT tools yet for those languages. And so the linguistic component there might be quite valuable for some time still. So all of that means maybe a mixed bag of news. It may seem like good news to some and bad news to others, but I'll tell you what, I think the best news that we have is that the language business is thriving. I like to think of the language business as the new oil. Oil was the substance that made everything in the 20th century move. It was the driver for every kind of business. And in the same way, I think language has the same kind of vital role in everything, because without language, nearly every human activity stops. We need language in commerce, diplomacy, entertainment, social engagement, education, healthcare, the news, research. It goes on and on. And finally, today, all of that effort, all of those human activities are global and multilingual. And who's at the center of all of that? We are. Our industry is what makes all of that possible and keeps things from stopping and shutting down. So we know, and increasingly our customers know, that language today needs to be real time, it needs to be always on, it needs to be available everywhere and to everyone. And we have big challenges before us: speed, volume, global talent, getting the right skill sets, being super efficient with what we do. Those are all big challenges. But the opportunities are just as big as they ever were, if not bigger right now. We have technology opportunities, linguistic opportunities, and entrepreneurial opportunities. So I'm super optimistic about the industry, and I think everyone should be, who's in it, should be super excited about the possibilities for us all going forward. А теперь разрешите мне сказать пару слов.
If I can say a couple of words to my friends and colleagues who are attending UTIC. The world is watching very closely what's happening in Ukraine. It is really very sad to see the consequences of the conflicts, and I hope very much that we all, as builders of bridges between peoples and people, that we all can help promote the improvement of the environment and the relationships, at least among ourselves. I wish you a successful conference, a friendly environment, and first of all, I wish you a more peaceful life in the country and a quick solution to all the problems outstanding.
European Society of Translator Companies, ALI, we invite its CEO, Jana Traninka, to say some words.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here. I'm glad to be representing an association of language service providers. As Hans had just said, these are difficult times, and we want to do whatever we can do to support you. Our members in text, Stanislav, thank you very much for your perseverance in pulling this event together. It's a lot of work, and my commendations for that. I would like to, thank you. I would like to just say a little bit about ALIA. We are an association of language service providers in Europe and beyond. We have 170 members. We're very proud of that. I'm very proud to have the Ukrainian members here. I encourage you to come and talk to me about the association. I have a booth outside, but I would also at this point like to just mention that we will have an event in October 6 and 7 in Italy. There we go. ND Tuscany. Beautiful place, great place to relax, but also to do exactly what you were going to do here. That's going to be talk, share information, get to know people, friends, make new friends, and do business. I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities that you have here. This is a great chance for the Ukrainian companies, translators. Unfortunately, there aren't quite as many Western companies here this year, but the few that are, I encourage you to talk to them as well. Learn about what they do, and also have the chance of doing some business with them. So, very nice pictures of Tuscany. I encourage you to come. If you're interested in learning more about these, again, the association or the event, please come and talk to me. And I wish you the best for the conference.
Attention, a short video in greetings from American Association of Translators. Attention to the screen, please.
Любі друзі, я Ірина Кожник, перекладачка із Сполучених Штатів.
I am a translator from the USA. I greet you from all my heart and soul, the whole participants of the conference of translation, which takes place in Kyiv. I want to wish you a great success in your professional, strong health. And also good mood and spring in your soul. I also wish Ukraine to have peace and to deal with all difficulties and challenges. Praise to Ukraine. Thank you for your applause. And I would like to invite Vadim Hazin, was colleague.
Dear colleagues, this video that you have just seen, this is a video with Irina Knizhnik speaking. She comes from Lvov, and she's a member of our Slavic languages chapter that we call the Slavic division, jokingly. Our conference, our organization holds conferences in different states, in different towns across the US, and sometimes in Canada. And during these conferences, we also hold meetings of the Slavic chapter. And we also hold kind of parties on one of the evenings of such a conference. It's very prestigious and useful for the market and the business to be a member of the of ATA, and it's still more prestigious to be a certified member of the ATA. And therefore, a couple of words about the certification program that we have in our association. There are a few dozens of areas of interpreting and translation where we can be certified: Russian, English, Russian, English, Ukrainian, and we are right now we are forming the we're discussing the English-Russian direction. I'm head of a group of assessors of candidates translation in the pair English-Ukrainian, and Irina, who has just spoken a few moments ago, is also an assessor. During the previous conference, we had the discussion as to what we can, as to how we should say, at the Ukraine, in the Ukraine or in Ukraine, and Irina says that we have to speak. We say in Ukraine, referring to Taras, in the Ukraine, because and she refers to Taras Shevchenko, who says he wants to be buried in the Ukraine, and my opinion is that we have to say in Ukraine, but this is a matter for discussion. I encourage you to take a look at the website, at the web page atanet.com. You can take a look at you can look up all the information on the tests for certification in any of the language pairs. If you are not if you're not confident of your skills as a translator, you can take a pilot test, and this rehearsal test will show you whether or not you are able to pass a real certification test. I cannot but mention the situation in Ukraine. The ideology in the US that prevails in the US is that is the ideology of isolation. The people in the US are mainly not really interested in anything that's happening in foreign countries. Geography is not what an average American is the best at, but what's happening now is something unbelievable, because the interest for this country and this place is growing. And as a freelancer, I feel that the interest for Ukraine has been growing. There's a lot of work for Ukrainian translators. And I think that the situation in Ukraine that we're facing in Ukraine is favorable for the expansion of the market of Ukrainian translation services. And referring to what has been said by Representative of Gala, I would like to support what he has said, and I would like to wish you success and a successful conference and honor to Ukraine. We have yet another gift from ATA. Please your attention to the screens. Подразделение славянских языков шлет вам самые лучшие пожелания. Мы надеемся на взаимовыгодное и разностороннее сотрудничество. И надеемся видеть вас на ежегодной конференции ATA в ноябре. 55-я ежегодная конференция ATA. Люси Гандерсон, администратор подразделения славянских языков. Фред Грасса, помощник администратора подразделения славянских языков. In 2013, a unique event happened in Russia. That was the first conference on localization of games and software. Lockit, welcome to its organizer, Demetician, CEO of All Correct Language Solutions company.
We organized a lot of conferences. Now we are participants of TTR, and we are also preparing the conference which took place in Moscow. That is a small specialized conference about localization, but that's the thing I would like to talk. When you're working on a conference and you're holding a conference, that is something like a touristic camping trip. You can be ready very good, you can try to help people to be ready, but you just don't know what it would be. Maybe an accident would happen, or the weather would be bad, or just it would be raining, anything. The most interesting thing is that it's not very important, and the participants of such a trip or any other event, they just gain a unique, pleasant experience, even if that is not as it was planned. As Stanislav mentioned about this situation, yeah, let it be so, but we are here and that's excellent, and I wish that the conference will provide each of you with that unique, pleasant experience. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference has a lot of friends. One of those are the colleagues from TFM, the Translation Forum of Russian, and our informational partner. I would like to show you video greeting from Elena Kislova and Alexander Osintsev, the organizers of TFR 2014. Attention to the screen, please.
Dear colleagues, allow me to congratulate you on the opening of the Ukrainian Translation Conference. We understand that this conference is happening in an unpredictable environment, which shows again that you are committed to our professional values, which remain unchanged under any circumstances and in any environment. Translators, as no other profession probably, can easily adapt in unpredictable circumstances. However, in these difficult times, the demands for professionals in translation in terms of moral and ethics are still stricter. And because we are in the communication business, we ensure understanding between people, and this is unbelievably important today. And it's wonderful that there's a translators and interpreters conference where translators and developers of professional software and translation interpreting teachers share their own experience and enhance their own skills and understanding. And a translation industry conference helps us exchange the best experiences, the best practices, and to use them better and improve in general. I'm confident that UTIC will do its best and give all the attendees additional energy to for many months ahead, up to September, up to the time when we will be holding the Translation Forum Russia. In September, we invite you to our conference in autumn, and we hope that you will feel comfortable and you will feel our hospitality, and you will feel the comfort of our wonderful venue. I wish you success and productive work. Dear colleagues, we wish you a fast development and a new professional.
Challenges are opportunities in disguise, and I wish you all to always have the ability to see opportunities in any problem that you may ever have to face. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Good luck and all the best to you all.
Peace to you, grow and develop. Because translation is an art. First of all, I wish my colleagues success in art and creation. It's very important to find new friends, to develop and to improve our skills. And please remain in the trend and achieve excellence. I think the best welcoming word we got from Alexander Asentsov. Please, a round of applause to it. Thank you. Translation from Russia, September 26-28, Katerinburg 2014. Thank you very much for this wonderful video welcoming word, and we invite the Vice President of the National League of Interpreters of Russia, the author of the recommendation on translation, Nikolai Duplensky. The floor is yours, Nikolai.
I was watching the video very attentively, and there was a woman in a jacuzzi, and I just didn't understand whether that was she or not. So, dear friends, colleagues, and friends, I get a possibility, a very pleasant possibility to say several greetings words. So what I'm doing now from our National Professional Association, National League of Translators, and from my own name. I'm really very glad to be here, and I'm really very pity not to visit the conference last year. Was not understandable even for me, arrogance, because I was thinking that problems of Ukrainian market are not interesting for me, and I was even suspicious about the organizers are thinking about something that can be concurrent for our TFN forum, which fourth meeting would have place in September. But it was really very interesting, and then I just was very upset that I have no possibility to visit it. That's why I'm here this year. I was also encouraged to say several words about the use for participants to unite their forces and thrusts when the conditions are appropriate. The topic is very well known by me, but I would continue the discussion with those who are interested later after the session. So the unity is what we need in our Russian market, and even in a more scope, even in Ukrainian one. Anyway, we are tiered with the same brush. The obvious thing is that when we unite our strengths and possibilities, translator agencies, we can just improve our possibilities and to reach and to satisfy our interests more in terms of our professional activities, but the task proceeds very slowly. And due to those translators who are still working, the process is still moving ahead. But in terms of agencies, the problem is more thin because there was such a big problem over there. So when you blister your tongue, so start to blow on the water. But the conflict appeared due to the ambitious struggle between the managers, and that means that led to the beginning of the conference and forums. The examples are the first one, which would have place in Russian, and this one, UTIC, and other forums which also take place, other discussions and coordinations. If there was no need in such things, so then people would not visit them. If translation agencies and offices have their common interests, so translators who live on their work, such interests are, of course, are present. Of course, the ideal translator in eyes of the customer is a very responsible person, but without any response. Nowadays, the situation is a little bit blocked and limited on the market. Of course, it is obvious that in this post-Soviet times, the people are not made to do any kind of public work. What I'm speaking about is what I'm doing now is a public work. In those conditions, people are supposed to spend their time and forces only in those cases if it is profitable for them and it is interesting for them, or when they have some material gain, or maybe other needs are satisfied, for example, in a communication. But I see Sergei Gladko, and I'm thinking, I'm recollecting several small struggles, so to say, in our office near UTIC, when he was meeting with his colleagues and colleagues, and he was doing that right, that he meets with them. That means that there is a need in such type of communication. The activity of professional unities in our branch has to meet the needs and requirements of the officers. And the questions are to be solved when the resources are present, either material or human. And I guess everyone would agree that human resources is the most important thing here. What I would also add here, that's that in conditions of organized famine, different forms of self-organization appeared. So several were organized by dietitian, our Sumerian colleagues, then the guilds of translators appeared, the translators city appeared. That means that people were trying to find any kinds of forms of communication to meet their needs, and that showed that monopolies in representing the interests of translators, and it appeared that this conception is not working, and that translators community, in doesn't matter Russian or Ukrainian, just generally post-Soviet, is not to be hierarchical but horizontal principle based. The main duty of thinking about the interests of those practitioners in translation and translation companies are the task of their own, and the profit and advantages would be found and met only by those who would understand that profit earlier than the others and would start using their skills and possibilities to satisfy their interests. There is no need in beautiful words. Maybe there are no need in Ukrainian, but still. But in Russian it is needed because Russian is very big, and translators can unite on the basis of territorial principle, just knowing the people with whom they are working to their amount. Because of course you understand that so very when you want to work with your colleague in a booth, you have to know how the person works, his behavior and character. With my shy experience and the whole other representatives of the National League of Translators, I would like to share with you. Sorry, I'm looking for the document which I would like to introduce to you. I would like to show you one document as an example of a real result of real work of the professional organization translator. That is a document which is called a little bit unusual. That is remind card for concerning the safety for simultaneous and consecutive translators. That is, so to say, compendium of made by several generations of interpreters, rules and methods of work in consecutive translation. This reminder card is to be included into big methodological recommendations concerning interpretation, which would be presented on the TFR 2014 in Ekaterinburg in September. This information has been published on the site, and those who want to know, I can provide you with the link. And to end, I would like to wish you good luck. Nikolai Dublinsky, CEO of the National League of Translators. Nikolai Dublinsky, your applause.
So, our conference has also many friends. One of them is Anatoly Pavlovich Chizhakin. He's the author of many textbooks. He's an expert on the problems of developing countries. He was a translator of Gorbachev and Bush, and he communicated with many famous people, including Yoko Ono. And he asked to read his message to the participants of the conference. This is it. I wish you success, peace, and fruitful communication. They come when we understand each other only. And this communication is designed for more fruitful communication. Thank you. We would like to thank you, the people who enable to enable understanding. Our synchronic interpreters and personally Elena Chernovskaya. It would be very difficult to organize a conference without the support of colleagues and, firstly, without the support of sponsors. So, platinum sponsors of UTIC as Language Solutions from Kyiv. His director, Ruslana Petrenko. Hello, dear colleagues, friends. I have a very pleasant mission here to introduce our company in the UTIC. We are on the market for 1 year and a half, and we became a very remarkable participant of the translation market of the Ukraine. Due to this fact, we became a partner of such important and interesting event as UTIC. The secret of our success is very simple. We take best things, adapt them to ourselves, use them in our work, and share them with our colleagues, partners, and friends. As I see it, this is the aim of UTIC organizers also. And we want every of you to realize this aim here. Be greedy for knowledge, share your information, be optimistic, be open to discussion, get new knowledge. I would like to welcome the linguists which are here. For our industry, the topical expression is that the value of the team is everything. The value of our resources is basic one. Without your labor, we wouldn't exist. I wish every of you successful conference, interesting reports. Let's make the world more understandable. Let's erase all borders, and this is our mission. I wish success to everyone. We are glad to introduce our guild sponsors, Lorgos company, one of the most understanding companies in the sphere of localization. And here is its manager, Sergei Gladkov.
Since Hans has been started in 2 languages, I don't see why I can do the same, do the first of all in English, okay? Logos International is an American company with offices in many countries. We support UTIC as a professional conference in this market. We have a production office here, and as well as in many other countries, including Europe. And we wish success to this conference. And today, I'll be speaking here about the ITS 2.0 specification, the project that we've been done for W3C, funded by European Commission, very important for the future of the language industry. I'll be happy to promote the professional development and tell all about it. Дорогие друзья, меня зовут Сергей Гладков, я руководитель компании Logos. У нас офисы во многих странах, в Америке, здесь, в Киеве.
The USA and in Kyiv and in Russia, in Europe. Now we are opening in China and in other countries. We are glad to welcome you here at the conference of UTIC. We wish you professional success. We wish the next conference to take place and to be better, bigger, and the prize we are going to give for the participants of the conference as tickets for the next conference, for which we are going to be sponsors as well. Now I give the floor to Fedor Bezrukov, a manager of our Kyiv subsidiary. Just a second. Now everyone understands that words are important, and everyone understands that words are important in another language, and it's very important to translate words professionally. That is why we support this conference, and we wish you here to participate in it successfully in order for our profession to get as much attention as possible and as much attention to life of the people. Further, please. Thank you very much. Sergei has managed to say many things which I wanted to say. Nevertheless, I want to thank the organizers for formation of such remarkable community, very powerful. Since last year, I on Facebook got many personal friends. Logris company, as a leading player in the market of localization, cannot stay apart from the conference. As Sergei has already said, we are going to be sponsors of the next UTIC as well. I'm very grateful to the organizers to see the people with whom I had the honor to work before. Alexander, Marta, Fyodor, thank you very much and have a successful conference. One more gold sponsor of UTIC-2014, athlete company. This is the only company auditing translation bureau according to the standards, European standards in Russian.
Thank you. ACRIT really do that all in Russian language and also in other languages as well. We introduce a certified net of things with my name. I'm elder. Sorry. No, a year ago, according to the laws of space problems, the first cake was very thin, beautiful, and tasty. And when it's 9 o'clock, I come in, sat in the first row, looked around and saw it. But that is not to be translated. Now I'm looking, and there are more people today than at that time at 9 o'clock. Stas mentioned the captain of the ship. And I have an impression that the organizers were working due to the principle, do what you have to do and everything would be okay. And they were right. I guess the success of such events is mainly influenced by the fact whether the necessary amount of people who are interested and united with several general tasks and aims can gather together, and then it works. It really works. I don't want to repeat what was mentioned before about the importance of words. Sergei said that in just a very good way. Just covered it. The only thing I want to say, and I guess I would be the third one, who would say something in two languages. Дорогие друзья, такие как я,
have no part in what's happening. Please celebrate the key virtue of this profession, impartiality. Спасибо.
Thank you. During the conference, we are supported by the Moravia company, who are the greatest translation agencies of the world and deal with more than hundreds of languages. But Renata Blanata prepared a video which we are going to watch.
Hello, dear friends at UTIC. This is Renato Beninato. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Moravia. I was supposed to be sitting there or standing there in front of you and welcoming you to this event and wishing you a strong and stable Wi-Fi connection. Moravia is sponsoring the Wi-Fi for you. And by the way, remember that the passport is "Thank you, Moravia," all capitals, all together. And I hope you have a fantastic event there. Last year, UTIC was one of the best events that I attended in the industry, and I was really looking forward to being there this time again. Unfortunately, circumstances have prevented me from joining you this time. I would like you to also be aware that Moravia is a key player in the localization industry and is constantly looking for talents like you. So if you're interested in working with our company, please visit our website, www.moravia.com/partners, and fill in the online profile, and you will be immediately entered into our database. We're constantly winning new projects with the top brands in the information technology and life sciences industries. We are a very proud sponsor of UTIC, and I hope to be back there next year in person and having fun, drinking, dancing, eating, and learning something, because after all, we just don't go to the conferences to party, we go there to learn something. I hope you do. Have fun and have a fantastic event.
According to good tradition, our technological sponsor is also test service company, the only SDL traders, and in Russian, Belarus, and Ukraine, and other countries which are our neighbors. Other sponsor of the UTIC conference is Language Services, the only company in Russian and other post-Soviet countries, which are the leading company in the linguistic services and automatic translation services. Another one, permanent constant promotion, is company Promovo, who provides language services to companies in Ukraine and Russia, including localization, control, quality development and control, and many others. Company Plunet is another one producer. They provide software and another computer appliances for the translation needs. The organizers of UTIC would also like to say their praise to Think Service company and personally to Dmitry Khrizhanovsky. As in last year, simultaneous translation support, the reports are presented in Russian, Ukrainian, and English. And if you do not know any of those things, so that means that you may choose. You may take a headset from Think Service for listening simultaneous translation. We hope that everyone here knows the necessary language, and our ceremony is going to the end. Now we ask all you to go to the main entrance of the conference hall to take a photo. Try to be in the first row, to have very good recollections in future. So have a lot of impressions, but we managed to make something talkable to make you smiling here at the last moment of our conference. We congratulate you at our opening session of UTIC 2014 is open. So now taking